All right guys, today we're going to be doing a complete servicing on this John Deere S100. It's a small 42-inch tractor, 42-inch deck. It's got two blades under there. It's not the 3-blade one, it's a 2-blade. And also it's got the mulching kit on there. I put that on anytime I get a new tractor or something. I love having the mulching kit instead of the side discharge. For one, it makes the whole tractor a lot more narrow and easier to navigate because you don't have that huge discharge out the side. And plus, I like to mulch up all my debris. I don't like to rake or bag or anything like that. So what we're doing today, we're doing new blades because I have a lot of pine cones in my yard and it just chews up the blades like crazy. And then we're going to change the oil. So we've got our oil filter and our new oil, and then we've got fuel filter, air filter, and spark plug. Handy to have strap wrench and 5/8" deep well socket for the spark plug. I'm doing all genuine John Deere parts today. Just for you guys, just for this video, I'm using all genuine John Deere parts, and it is significantly more expensive. Like this is 20 bucks, 20 bucks, 20 bucks, which is crazy. And then the oil is $10 each quart. Also crazy. If I were you, I'd go on Amazon and you can buy a maintenance kit. Like they have aftermarket people that make these kits that come with everything, significantly cheaper. Because what you see here, oh, and the blades, the genuine John Deere blades, those were 38 bucks. So you're looking at like 100 bucks here, whereas you could probably get the same stuff on Amazon for significantly less. But just for today's video, we're going to use all John Deere stuff. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is drain the oil. Here's the oil drain here. I've got a bucket here. To get a little bit more room in here, you might want to turn your wheels all the way to the left, and it gives you more room, because with this wheel straight, I couldn't get this bucket in here. But nice bucket. I just use this for all my oil changes. I like it because it gives me measurement lines so I can see exactly how much fluid came out. Here's the drain. I'm going to unplug this wire right here and pull it back out of the way, because I don't like how it's right there to where it's going to get oil all over it, because this is just going to drain straight out. So I'm going to move that wire out of the way, and then basically, well, I'll come back and show you how to do that. All right, I've got that wire moved out of the way. I just disconnected it there, undid it from the zip tie here, and just tucked it under behind here so it's not in the way. So for this release, there's no threads or anything. You're basically just going to turn it and pull it straight out, and it starts draining right away. This tractor has just shy of 30 hours on it. So I've only used it for one season so far. So you can see my oil's not too bad. It's actually still got a little caramel color to it. But I just want to go ahead and start the season with a fresh maintenance. So we'll drain that out. I may put a jack under the other side. In fact, yes, I am going to put a jack under the other side and lift it up to make sure this all drains out properly. But we'll let that all drain out, and then we'll change the filter. All right, she's almost done draining. I do recommend jacking up the other side because after I jacked it up, a significant amount more oil came out. So do that to make sure you get all the old oil out. But make sure you block your back wheel on the side you're not jacking up, because the way this parking brake holds the mower in place is it makes the wheels so that they spin opposite directions. So once that other wheel comes off the ground, this whole thing can roll if you don't block your wheel. And I have a slight decline on my driveway, so better to be safe and just block it so you're not chasing your mower down the driveway. All right, so it's almost done draining. There's just a drip here or there. I went ahead and cleaned this off with a rag. Now I'm just going to reinstall my cap and turn it like that. Make sure it's in the locked position there. Give it a little wiggle. So that's not going anywhere. And then we'll go over to the other side and change the filter. All right, I got to show you something that happened off camera. Notice that this tells you the direction for tightening right on the filter, and also says hand tighten only. Whoever installed this at the factory did not take that precaution, I don't think, because I could not get this sucker off here. You see how dented it is? I thought I was going to crush this thing and be in a bad situation. I tried my smaller strap wrench, would not work, couldn't get enough torque on it. That sucker was so tight. Finally, I got my bigger strap wrench. That couldn't grip hard enough because there's a little bit of oil or something down here. I couldn't get it to grip hard enough. So what I wound up doing was I actually put a piece of sandpaper, and I'll put a picture of what this looked like, but I put a piece of sandpaper in between the filter and the strap wrench to get this to grab on a little bit, and I finally was able to get this loose. So I'm gonna go ahead and take it the rest of the way off. But man, that sucker was on there tight. So I got my catch bucket under here. I don't love this design. I wish John Deere had put a little lip or something so that it didn't drain over the frame like that. But I guess they can't think of everything, right? Maybe they were focused more on having their strongest man tighten this oil filter. Anyway, that's out, it's draining. And then we'll go ahead and put the new one back on. All right, it's drained. I've cleaned up with a rag around here because you don't want to, there will be dirt and stuff around here. So clean that real good with a rag before you put the new filter on. I've already taken the new filter out of the box and I've put some of the old oil on this gasket, O-ring, whatever you want to call it. And we're just gonna spin this on. So what I usually do is right there is I'm starting to feel a little bit of resistance there. So I'll go an additional half turn like that. And now we're good. We shouldn't have to fight it next time to get it off. You'll only do that once. I learned that years and years ago. Don't over torque these things. All right, on to the next. All right, I don't think this part requires any explanation, but obviously put your new oil back in there. This is 10W30 is what John Deere recommends for this climate. All right, I've got a full quart in there and it's about the same amount. I looked in the bucket to see how much came out. About 1 liter came out. The bucket's marked in liters, don't ask. Anyway, so it's about the same as what I took out, but I will start it to fill up the filter and then I'll double check this again. I've got a second quart in case I need to put a little bit more. All right, we're gonna go to do the spark plug next. I like this spark plug boot. It's nice and protected, and it is right here next to the exhaust manifold. So make sure your engine's cool because you will burn the heck out of yourself on this sucker if it's not cool. But to remove the spark plug boot, just give it a little wiggle and pull out. And then you can just tuck that around to the front. And then here's your spark plug right there. You're gonna need a 5/8 inch deep socket. And this one was not over torqued like the filter was. So came out pretty easy. And we'll take it the rest of the way out by hand. And take a look and see what it looks like. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I only run non-ethanol gasoline in all of my small engines, my weed whacker, blower. Oh wow, that's pretty fouled. I don't know if it shows on camera. It looks much darker in person. We are in direct sunlight, but that looks pretty bad, so I'm glad I'm changing that. This is a Champion, let's see, RC12 Yankee Charlie. Again, RC12YC. And I'll put that in the notes as well below. But yeah, we're changing that filter out with a new one. All right, here's our new spark plug here. And we're just gonna get that in there. Always thread these in several threads by hand before you ever touch it with a wrench. Because if you cross thread this sucker, you are screwed. Fortunately, I've never cross threaded one, but I've heard of people doing it and I don't even know, you might even have to get a whole new motor. Okay, so I threaded it all the way in as much as I can by hand. And then I'm just going to do a little quarter turn on that sucker, and that's it. You don't need to over torque that. Next, we're going to replace this fuel filter. So I'll zoom out so you guys can see where it's at. It's right in between the engine and the battery there. And what we'll have to do is we'll have to release these little clips. That one's hard to see because it's backwards, but it's the same clip as this. So I use needle nose or regular pliers, squeeze those things together, and then you can slide it down the line because there's like a little barb underneath here to hold it on. So we'll loosen those up top and bottom. You can see there's the bottom one right there. And we'll pop this old one out and we'll pop the new one in. The important thing here is to make sure that you get the flow in the correct direction. There's an arrow on the filter and it needs to be pointed upwards, which is coming from the tank. This is coming from the tank up and into the engine here. All right, I've got the old filter out. There she is, pretty nasty. I mean, who cares about the outside, but the inside looks pretty nasty as well, so I'm glad I'm changing that. And spilling gas on my Mordic. Okay, and here's the new one. We're gonna put that in, making sure we line up the arrow pointing upwards, and then retighten those clamps. It's really easy to retighten the clamps. Basically, you get on them like this with your pliers, and you slide them up and down. All right, now we'll do the air filter. I have not looked in here yet, so this should be interesting, but we're gonna turn both of those towards us. Take this off. Oh, that's actually not too bad. I expected that to be a lot more dirty, but you can see there's some moisture in here from me washing the tractor earlier. So not too happy about that water got down in there, because when water does get down in there, it can do that. See how it's misshapen the fins? Those are the ones that were down in the water. But you can see how I just popped that out. And there's the new one for comparison. It's actually not too bad, but I'm gonna go ahead and change it anyway. I'm gonna clean this all out here with a rag to make sure it's nice and clean, and we'll pop the new one on. All right, I cleaned that inside it out. Don't forget to cover, oh wow, my hands are really dirty, nice. Don't forget to clean the inside of the cover as well before you put it back on, but that's got the new air filter in it. You can see we're at 29.8 hours on our time. Well, let's go ahead and start this up, and then we'll check the oil and call it a day. For the record, it normally starts on the first key turn, but I did have the throttle all the way down. If I had bumped the throttle up, I'm sure it would have started on the first one. But we'll check the oil now, and that'll be it for this video. I'm gonna make a separate video on how to change the blades, because someone might want to just know that. So I'll make a separate video on how to change your mower blades. So that's it for now, guys. Hope this helped you guys, and we'll see you on the next one.